So President Trump nominated... All right, a good sense there of where we're going. When Kellyanne Conway said what she said about buying that particular product, that was wrong, wrong, wrong. I called it out. They need to investigate it. What Kellyanne Conway was wrong, it should never happen again, and there should be some accountability there. Absolutely.
That is
they're booing him even when he says what they want to hear.
Do your job was the chant, if you couldn't make it out.
I think they were going to boo everything.
Yeah.
He said he was going to bring Christmas to February, and they booed it.
Do your job.
Well,
yeah.
exactly.
So that was Republican Jason Chaffetz getting a hard time last night at a town hall in his home state of Utah, coming under fire.
Well, Utah's a
rough
liberal hotbed, though.
Including pressure to look into Kellyanne Conway. His committee has expressed concern into whether Conway violated ethics law just 20 days into the Trump
The answer would be yes.
I think it's pretty obvious.
Conway kicked up a controversy yesterday while defending first daughter Ivanka Trump's products, which Nordstrom, as you know, decided to stop carrying, saying it was because of declining sales. Despite a 26% drop in online sales in January alone, the White House claimed the decision was political. Conway made this plea on Fox News from inside the White House.
I don't want to see this.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Go buy Ivanka's stuff is what I would tell you. I hate shopping. I'm gonna go get some on myself today. It's a wonderful line. I own some of it. I'm gonna give a free commercial here. Go buy it today, everybody. You can find it online.
So Conway was accused of running afoul of the law.
It's a wonderful line. It's a wonderful line, she says, with the White House shield behind her. You can't do that.
It's the shield.
And by the way, Ivanka can speak for herself. We all know Ivanka.
Yeah.
Right? She can speak for herself. These people need to stop. They're not doing her any favors. They need to stop.
The law we were just talking about prohibits an employee from making, quote, the endorsement of any product, service, or enterprise on behalf of others or even nonprofit groups. The website for the Office of Government Ethics crashed in the hours following Kellyanne's comment. Chaffetz and Democrat Elijah Cummings, the top lawmakers on the House Oversight Committee, in a rare moment of agreement, asked for the office to review Conway's statements and act promptly with a recommendation for disciplinary action if warranted. But the recommendation goes to the executive branch, which said Conway had been, quote, counseled. Last night, Conway commented on that and on the letter from Congress.
How were you counseled?
I'm not going to comment on that.
They say that they consider that to be a very serious, potentially a serious violation of the government ethics code.
We're aware of that letter, and we're reviewing that internally. I'm just really happy that I spent an awful lot of time with the President of the United States this afternoon, and that he supports me 100%. We spoke about a range of matters, and he supports me 100%. In fact, it was a very heartening moment. All I can say to America's women is, at some point in your life, you ought to have a boss who treated me the way that the President of the United States treated me today.
So that was Kellyanne Conway last night. A report early this morning in the Associated Press suggests Donald Trump didn't like the word counseled. In fact, he thought Sean Spicer shouldn't have used it, and that he supports Kellyanne Conway.
Who said Sean?
The Associated Press said Donald Trump didn't like that Sean Spicer.
He thought Sean Spicer went too far, and the Associated Press reporting, and I've confirmed that he's saying she's fine. He understands why she did.
He views Kellyanne as defending his daughter, which is what he was doing in the Nordstrom tweet.
And he really likes the way that Kellyanne goes on television and fights for him with whatever it takes, and he likes it when she fights for his daughter as well.
And he'd be the decider if there was any notion that she did something wrong. So while I think there's a general agreement that she did something wrong, it appears that her boss doesn't think she did.
You know, it's unbelievable. And you can see this coming, as my torts professor would say, like a freight train out of the mist. The White House is going to get a letter, and they're going to say she violated the ethics code. And then are they going to really do nothing about this?
I don't know how that happens.
Are they going to? Because if they do, that sets up, you know what? That's one big ethics nick. Where the government
Credibility is at stake here.
Well,
Her credibility
it's more
is,
than that.
I'm
Not
At
with-
this point,
I'm
it's
sorry,
more than that.
shot.
I think it's the credibility of a White House that has already conflict of interest problems
Yeah.
and questions.
She doesn't know the lines. She doesn't respect the lines. She doesn't really. I watched her throughout the campaign. I thought she was very adept at trying to translate for the campaign and trying to work around things. But she doesn't know the lines now that she's in Washington.
We always talk about what would happen in other White Houses, what would happen here, what would happen there. If somebody had done this
No.
on the heels of the Bowling Green massacre, on the heels
Exactly.
of so many other things,
There's no credibility
gone.
left.
They'd be gone in a second.
I don't know.
You can say this for the president. He's consistent. He holds his employees to the same standards he holds himself.
Joining us now, senior writer at Politico and co-author of the playbook, Jake Sherman. What are you looking at today, Jake?
Well, first of all, that letter, I just want to add to that. I think that if they don't do anything, you saw the pressure that Jason Chaffetz is under in a district where he won with 75% of the vote, one of the most conservative districts in the country. That's an R plus 25, which means the average Republican wins by 25 points. So Chaffetz is going to come under pressure. If Donald Trump doesn't do anything on Kellyanne Conway, he's going to have to hold a hearing, and I think he's going to have the political pressure to do so. But on the element of the protests, I think something big is happening across the country, and Republican leadership sent out a letter last night with this quote, "We aren't grasping for relevancy," and I think the point that they're trying to make is Democrats are, and that's what they're chalking this up to, and I think that's a bit of a mistake. I think you're seeing this across the country, not only in R plus 25 districts, but in less conservative districts that Republicans need to hold in 2018.
Yeah.
So, like you said earlier, Joe, this is approaching 2009, 2010 levels, and we're only 2 weeks into the administration.
Right, and so Republicans should learn from Democrats who I think were like, they're crazies. You know, you would see them, they'd go out and they'd be shocked. And I actually think Jason Chaffetz last night, from everything we've heard, was very gracious with the crowd.
Absolutely.
Listen to him. That's what you do.
Easy.
You know what? And also, my recommendation to anybody that's getting booed, pull up a chair, sit down, take off your coat, roll up your sleeves, say, I'm here. You know, you guys want to talk to me? Let's talk. You guys want to scream?
I mean, that was a jeering, leering crowd.
Yeah.
It wasn't even...
But you play them out. You don't rush in and then rush out. You sit there.
You did a good job.
And you take it. You know, Caddy, one of the crazy things about this administration is there are always so many distractions. Here's a Kellyanne distraction, the latest Kellyanne distraction, which actually eclipses what actually should be top of the news, which is the president had, by all accounts, a remarkably positive call with China last night. There was a lot of concern that we were going to have bad relations with China because of his call with Taiwan. Everything that we've heard about that call with China was really positive, and it looks like one of the most important relationships in the world is back on firm footing. But this has happened nonstop. I told the story a couple days ago. I wrote a positive column about the inside working of the Trump administration, how they were learning from their mistakes and comparing it to Kennedy, who screwed up to the Bay of Pigs, and Clinton, which was chaos for a while. I couldn't write it because on Saturday, what was it Saturday? Oh, he attacked the judge. So I said, okay, well, that's okay. I'll do it on Monday. But then on Monday, I had to respond to the Vladimir Putin. I mean, they keep... So here, Kellyanne Conway is standing on top...
Again.
...of a great story of this call with China, which is far more significant than probably anything that happened yesterday other than the 9th decision.
He got 2 cabinet members confirmed.
Right.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be the story of the morning if they were playing this right? The Chinese call, the cabinet confirmations, this is exactly what he wants people to be talking about. And I think that they have either they have a real communications problem.
They do.
Or there is something about this White House that deliberately wants to foment chaos. And this is the spin-off you get from chaos. Can you have populist insurgency and effective functioning government? I think that's that's the process we're trying to figure out at the moment.
Jake, and this has to be increasingly maddening for Republicans on the Hill. They will only take so much of this. I know how it works. I mean, Jason Chaffetz, you could see him last night going, okay, yes, okay, we're going to have an investigation. He has no choice now.
Zero choice. And another thing that's angering Republicans on the Hill, yesterday Donald Trump goes in front of airline CEOs and says, I'm releasing a tax plan in 2 weeks. And Republicans on the Hill, when I spoke to them yesterday, said, you're releasing a tax plan in 2 weeks? No one knew what he was talking about. And they're not ready for a tax plan, and they're not ready to do Obamacare. And why is he releasing this? And I think that, listen, maybe we could chalk this up to them getting their footing early, but the patience is wearing increasingly thin as Republicans have to continue to defend a top aide hawking a clothing line in front of the White House briefing podium, just kind of chaos of plans. And also, remember, he's going to Florida today with the Japanese Prime Minister, which also could be a good story. He's going to reestablish trade ties after TPP collapses or he withdraws from it. We're hearing kind of nothing of that. There's no consistent messaging.
So that's another great example, and I know we have to go to break, but thank you for bringing that up, Jay. So he had a great call with China last night, by all accounts, and he is going golfing this weekend with the Prime Minister of Japan, which, as we all know, I mean, that's 5, 6, 7 hours of those two together. That's pretty damn important. But all of this other news,
in which the Japanese will announce a major investment into American infrastructure spending.
Yes, where the Japanese are, I mean, this is done right without all the distractions. There's some great headlines that this administration just can't get out of the way to let people print.
The foreign policy stuff's obviously important, and a better relationship with Japan would be great. I still think, and we've talked about it before, he's got to figure out how to move on the big piece of his legislative agenda. And the biggest problem with these distractions are not that they're distractions in the media, but that individual elements really annoy certain Republicans who he needs. You know, if he doesn't have John McCain on tax reform, not good.
Jake Sherman, thank you very much. Coming up, former Harvard.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.